Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. So now we are in topic number 4 or chapter 4 lah. Based on our syllabus and chapter 7 ni because it is based on the textbook punya sequence of chapters. But anyway, anyhow, in this particular chapter, the main topic focuses on decision making, and as managers, we are bound to make decisions. Sometimes, whether we like it or not, we have to make decisions not only concerning ourselves, but also for the department or even for the whole organization. So in this particular chapter, there are 5 learning objectives that we plan to achieve by at the end of the lecture. Number 1, yes, you need to understand in terms of the different nature of managerial decision making, program and non-program decisions, and then describe the 6 steps managers should take to make the best decision. And then in terms of cognitive biases, there are lots of biases when we make decisions. We are all human beings. We are bounded by different frames that we have in our mind, in our brain, that might influence the way that we make decisions. So we are going to discuss about that as well in this particular chapter, and then identify the advantages and disadvantages of group decision making, explain the role of organizational learning and creativity play in helping managers to improve their decision. And we are going to close end this chapter by learning objective number 5. All right, let us go with the content of the chapter first. Nature of managerial decision making. What does it mean by decision making? Decision making is the process by which managers respond to opportunities and threats that confront them by analyzing options and making determinations about specific organizational goals and courses of action. So there are a few important elements when we look at the definition of decision making itself. Number 1, sometimes we are going to make decision in response to the opportunities and threats, and sometimes we are making decisions in order for us to deal with recurring issues that would contribute towards the successful implementation of the goals and objective of the organization. So there are several nature of decision making, managerial decision making. Sometimes decision making in response to opportunities. We need to tap on the opportunities. If we don't tap on the opportunities that has been confronted to us, we might lose the opportunity, or our competitor might tap on that particular opportunity. So we need to respond to improve organizational performance for the benefits of the customers, employees, and other stakeholders. And sometimes we are going to make decisions in response to threats. Sometimes the competitors are introducing a new product and they are cutting down the price and everything. So if we don't react and make decision, what is the price of our goods now in the market? Are we going to lower the price as what the competitors has done? The competitors have done. If we don't do any decision making in response to that particular decision, our customers, they might run away and buy and start to buy competitors' products. So sometimes we need to make decisions in response to threats. And decision making, the simplest types of decision making, we can say that program and non-program decision. So program decision, benda yang rutin lah. Kan? For example, like rules and regulation, and then policies. So those are the things yang memang organisation buat as part of the program decision. Why do we have these program decisions? In order to deal with routine, recurring, kan, benda yang berlaku repetitively, kan. So it would speed up the decision making process. You don't have to go to your bosses. It doesn't have to go into the meeting, because you know the type of decisions that you are going to make. For example, and if you are dealing with late employees who tend to come late not once, twice, but many, many times. And so we know that after the three times kan, you can issue a letter, and then the fourth time, and then baru kita bawa naik ke atas, for example. And then once broken, considered sold. That is considered as a program decision. So whoever breaks any goods dalam kita punya departmental store, he or she has to pay, regardless of who he or she is. And then like students, for example, you have to pay your fees on certain dates, kalau tidak gugur taraf kan. And then dari segi kalau kita masuk face to face, kadang-kadang dulu nak kena wajib, bukan dulu lah, sekarang pun wajib nak kena ada student ID bila masuk dalam UiTM, for example. So that is the type of program decision. And then sometimes we have non-program decisions. This is non-routine decisions, making decision making that occurs in response to unusual, unpredictable opportunities and threats. There is no rules. There are no rules because the situation is unexpected. We cannot prepare for this. If we can prepare for that, that would fall under the category of program decision. So non-program decision, like the COVID-19 one, this is a very huge non-program decision, very unexpected ones, unusual one, unpredictable one. And managers lack the information that they would need to develop rules and to respond to it. So because of the non-program decision, so that is why sometimes we are making decision based on our intuition and also based on our judgment. Intuition is refers to feelings, belief, and then our sixth sense lah, and hunches that come readily to mind, require little effort and information gathering, and result in on-the-spot decisions. Whether you want to bring your umbrella to work today or not. And sometimes we have the gut feeling, oh hari nak hujan kot, so baik bawa je lah. And so that kind of intuition. Kan, dia ni boleh kot ambil kerja, nampak gaya macam bagus. Kan? So sometimes we have that hunches, that the sixth sense in ourselves that could help us to make a decision. And then reason judgment, decision that requires time and effort and result from careful information gathering, generation of alternative, and evaluation of alternative. So for reason judgment, it would take a much longer time and effort. It would allow you to collect all of the information first, to gather the information first, and then evaluate the possible alternative, and before you make the decision. So the classical model of decision making, a prescriptive approach to decision making based on the assumption that the decision maker can identify and evaluate all possible alternatives and their consequences and rationally choose the most appropriate course of action. So this is the classical way. We talk about a decision making process with the assumption that we as the decision maker, we can identify and evaluate all possible alternatives and then consequences rationally. So meaning to say that we as the decision maker, kita sedia maklum lah all the information relating to that particular issue, what are the options, and then what are the consequences if we don't make that decision. Optimum decision, the most appropriate decision in light of what managers believe to be the most desirable consequences for their organization. So we look into figure 7.1. This is the classical model of making decision. Number one, of course, we are going to list all of the alternative courses of actions possible and the consequences of the different alternative. For example, if you were to choose to further our study in UiTM and then in Taylor College, for example, different college, and so we list all of the alternative and then consequences. And then consequences maybe in terms of the cost. And kita assume all information about alternative is available. We can obtain this type of information lah. Taylor berapa, kalau kita nak buat dekat UKM berapa, kalau dekat UiTM berapa. And so, and then what sorts of courses yang diorang offer, for example. And then we rank each alternative from least preferred to the most preferred according to personal preferences. What is the most important personal preferences in making this type of decision? Maybe in terms of the type of program, we look for the program first, and then we go for the finances, and in terms of the cost. So kita rank diorang according to the cost kan. Kita punya priority according to the cost lah kan, yang mana kita rasakan affordable. And then select the alternative that leads to desired future consequences. We assume that managers know what future course of action is best for the organization. So that is with regards to the classical model of decision making. I will stop here first and then we will continue in the next video.